Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the historic Wheeler Opera House and to the Aspen Community School production of Heidi. We would like to dedicate tonight's performance to three messages that we think are found in the book Heidi. The first is the healing power of the mountains. The second is the possibility of redemption for all people, no matter what mistakes they've made in the past. And the third is the transformative power of joining together in community. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Heidi.
Coming home. Heidi, put those on.
Oh, not everything. I'm so hot.
Well, keep on your Sunday dress, please.
Oh, all right. I'll go with you, Dada, if you're going any farther.
Of course, Barbara. Tired, Heidi?
No, but it's very hot.
It's not far now. Just keep going and see what big steps you can take. We'll be there in another hour.
Where are you going with the child, Dada? I suppose she's the orphan your sister left?
That's right. I'm taking her up to the uncle. She'll have to stay with him now.
Stay with the uncle? Up on the mountain? You must be crazy. How can you think of such a thing? He'll send you right down if you suggest that to him.
Why should he? He's her grandfather, and it's high time he did something for her. I've looked after her up till now, but I don't mind telling you I'm not going to turn down a good job because of her. Her grandfather must do his duty.
That might be all right if he were like other people, but he's not. He cares nothing for others. Where's this job you're taking?
In Frankfurt with a wonderful family. Last summer, they stayed in the hotel at Regatz where I worked as a chambermaid. They wanted me to go back with them then, but I couldn't get away. Now they've come back and asked me again, and I'm certainly going.
Well, I'm glad I'm not that poor child. I wonder what that old man has got on his conscience to make him live alone up there and hardly ever show his face. There are all sorts of rumors, but I expect you know the whole story. Your sister must have told you plenty, didn't she?
Yes, she did, but I'm not telling. If he had heard I'd been talking about him, I'd catch it all right.
Oh, Detta, I know how to keep a secret. Just tell me why he's so against everyone and why everyone is so afraid of him. I suppose he was better off once?
He certainly was. He used to own the finest farm in Domesday. But he drank and gambled away the whole property. His parents died from sheer grief. The uncle left the area to join the army in Naples. There, he said he killed someone in a brawl. Some years later, he returned to Domesday with a boy, his son Tobias. He tried to get some of his relatives to look after the boy, but no one wanted anything to do with him. He was so angry he vowed never to set foot in the town again and moved with the boy to Dorfley.
And then what happened?
I'll tell you, give me a chance. Tobias grew up here quite happily and was apprenticed to a carpenter. Once he had learned his trade, he married my sister Adelheid. They had the child, Heidi, but their happiness didn't last long. 2 years later, Tobias was helping to build a house when a falling beam killed him. My sister was so broken-hearted that she died within 2 weeks. The villagers all said it was the almost punishment for his misspent earlier life. They told him so to his face, and the pastor told him he had to do penance. This made him even more angry than ever, so he moved up to the mountain to be at odds with God and man, as they say. Mother and I took the baby in to live with us. Mother died last year, so I've taken care of her myself. But now I have this job offer. Her grandfather must take his turn.
And now you're going to hand the child over to him? Just like that?
What else can I do? My mind's made up. Come on, Heidi.
He's hateful and mean.
He's the most frightening man I've ever seen. He looks so strange. He looks so weird with all his wild white hair and beard. He's a real hermit, not right in the head. He's been that way since his son's been dead. When he comes down the mountain to bring me his cheeses, he says not a word, just does as he pleases.
With the money he makes, he take me for meat. Then back up the mountain, he beats a retreat.
Before he goes, from me he buys flour.
The whole of his business takes less than an hour.
A child on the mountain so high and remote,
With no one to talk to, except an old goat. Who will wash her dress? Who will mend her clothes?
who will let her head down each spring as she grows?
Who will hear her prayers? Who'll teach her to read?
That man will
bothered. On that we're agreed.
Social is the best I can say.
We keep all of our children out of his way.
As far as taking that child up there,
Well, it's none of our business, so we don't care.
How do you do, Grandfather?
Well, what does this mean?
Hello, Uncle. I've brought Tobias and Adelaide's daughter. I don't suppose you recognize her, as you haven't seen her since she was almost 2 years old.
Why have you brought her here?
She's come to stay with you, Uncle. I've done all I can for her these last 6 years. Now it's your turn.
My turn, is it? And when she starts to cry and fret for you, as she's sure to do, what am I supposed to do then?
That's your affair. No one told me what to do when she was left in my hands a baby. Goodness knows I had enough to do taking care of Mother and myself. But now I have this job offer. You're her closest relative. If you can't keep her here, do what you like with her. But if she comes to any harm, you'll have to answer for it. And I shouldn't think you'd want anything more on your conscience.
Go back to where you came from, and don't go back again in a hurry.
Goodbye then. Bye, Heidi.
Well, what do you want to do now?
I would like to see what is inside the hut.
Come along, then. Bring your bundle of clothes with you.
I don't want them anymore. She's no fool.
Why's that?
I want to be able to run about like I saw the goats doing on our way up here.
And you'll be able to, but bring things inside all the same. They can go in this cupboard.
But where should I sleep, Grandfather?
Where you like.
I shall sleep up here, Grandfather. It's a splendid place. Just come and see.
I know it well.
I'm going to make my bed now, but you will have to come up and bring me a sheet to cover it so that I could lay on it.
All right. That's right. But it has to be thicker than that.
We forgot one thing, Grandfather.
What's that?
A blanket to cover it so that I could creep under it when I go to bed.
That's what you think, is it? Suppose I haven't got one.
Oh, well then, it doesn't matter. I can easily cover myself with hay.
Wait a minute. There. That's better than hay, isn't it?
Yes, that's a wonderful blanket. I wish it was bedtime now so that I could get in it.
I think we might have something to eat first, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Well then, if we are agreed, let us go down and see about a meal. I'm glad to see that you can think things out for yourself. You've got a seat, all right. But it's a low one. There. Now you have a table all to yourself. You can start to eat.
This is the best milk I've ever drunk.
You must have some more.
I think I shall go to bed now, Grandfather. Good night.
Good night. Child may be frightened.
Say as much as he did today, telling me to give you fresh milk for lunch and not to let you fall over the ravine. My mother was worried about you, Heidi, that you might not make it through the night with that mean old man. How was it? He's not a mean old man. He gave me blankets for my bed in the loft. He let me use his chair as a table. When I woke up this morning, he had made me my own high chair so that I could sit at the table with him. And he even packed you extra food for taking good care of me today. But I know he will let me come with you every day. That's fine, only don't go picking all those flowers today. We don't have much time up here today. And besides, if you pick all the flowers, there won't be any left to look at. All right, Peter. Oh, the goats are all so sweet and so different. Do you know all their names, Peter? Of course I do. That's Spot, Daisy, Dusty, Snowflake.
Mountain
some of your lunch tomorrow. Tomorrow and every day. Now we will have today's share. What's the matter, little Schneebly? Why are you crying so? She's crying because she's hungry. Why doesn't she drink from her mother like the other baby goats? She can't. Her mother's dead. She probably won't last long without eating. Of course she'll last. I'll take care of her. Peter, Peter, fire, fire! The mountains are on fire. The snow in the sky, too. It's not a fire. It's always like this in the evening. What is it, then? It just happens. Oh, look! Now they're all rosy. Oh, dear. Now the color's going away, and everything's turning all gray. It'll be the same tomorrow. Now it's time to go home. Is it always like this up here? Usually. Will it really be the same tomorrow? Yes, it will. I expect you thought I wasn't coming, but Grandfather said I must wait until the snow has a crust on it.
Are you the child who lives with the uncle? Are you Heidi?
Yes, and Grandfather just brought me down on the sled.
Fancy that, and yet your hands are so warm. Bridget, did the uncle really bring her down himself?
I don't know, Mother. It doesn't sound likely. She must be mistaken.
I'm not mistaken. It was Grandfather. He wrapped me up in a blanket and brought me down himself.
Well, well, Peter must have been right after all. And what he told us about the uncle, we thought he'd got it all wrong. Who would have believed it? To tell the truth, I didn't think the child would last 3 weeks up there. And now she's been up there all summer and well into the fall. What does she look like, Bridget?
She's thin, like her mother was, though she looks strong and healthy. She's got eyes and hair like Tobias had. She favors her father and the old man, I think.
One of your shutters is hanging loose, Granny. Look how it swings to and fro.
I can't see it, my dear, but I can hear it very well. And everything else that creaks and clatters when the wind blows through the cracks. The place is falling to pieces, and at night, when the other two are asleep, I am often afraid it's going to fall on us and kill us. And there isn't anyone to do anything about it. Peter doesn't know how.
Why can't you see the shutter, Granny?
It's not only the shutter. I can't see it all.
You can't see the sun saying goodnight to the mountains, making them all red like fire?
No, child, I shall never see that again.
Oh.
But Heidi, hearing you describe the sunset like that makes me see it in my mind. When one is blind, it is so good to hear a friendly voice, and yours I love already. Come and sit beside me and tell me what you and your grandfather do up on the mountains. I used to know him well, but I haven't heard from him for years, except what Peter tells us, and that's not much.
Oh, just wait until I tell Grandfather about you. He will come and make your house warm and strong. He can do anything.
Did you hear that, Bridget?
Hello, Peter.
What? Back from school already? It's been years since I've known an afternoon to pass so quickly. Well, Peterkin, how are you getting on with your reading?
Just the same.
Oh dear, I hope you might have something different to tell me. You'll be 12 in February.
What to tell you? What do you mean?
Only that perhaps he's learned to read at last. There's an old prayer book with some beautiful hymns in it, and I haven't heard them in a very long time. I can only remember the one that I can repeat to myself. I am hoping Peter will be able to read them to me, but he doesn't seem able to learn. It's too difficult for him.
What's a hymn, Granny? Will you tell me the one you still remember?
Yes, child, but I only remember it in German. Can you please help me up?
light the lamp. The afternoon has passed so quickly, I hadn't noticed it was getting dark.
Oh, if it's getting dark, I must start at the mountain. Grandfather said so. Goodbye, Granny. Goodbye, Bridget. Goodbye, Peter.
Wait a minute, Heidi. You can't go alone. Peter will come with you. Here, Bridget, take this shawl and give it to Heidi. She will freeze to death in this cold.
I no sooner got out the door, but I saw the uncle striding towards Heidi, who was way ahead of us. He picked her up in a warm blanket and carried her up the mountain.
Imagine that. I hope the uncle will let her come see us again. Her visit has done me a world of good.
Told you so.
Understand the wind.
You're right. I am learning. This is the place where I belong. When the sun breaks o'er the mountains, I spring from my bed.
college when he lived down in the village many years ago. This is the teacher. He runs a school for all the village children.
We've come to speak to your grandfather. Where is he?
He's inside making spoons. I'll call him. Grandfather, we have visitors.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Pastor.
I haven't seen you for a long time.
Nor I you.
This is the village teacher. We've come to talk to you about something. I expect you can guess what.
Heidi, run and take some salt to the goats and don't come back until I fetch you.
That child should have gone to school this winter.
I sent a note to that effect with Peter the goat herd, but you disregarded it. What do you intend to do with her, neighbor?
I don't intend to send her to school.
Then what will become of her?
She'll grow up with the goats and the birds. They won't teach her any bad ideas, and she'll be very happy.
She's not a goat or a bird, but a little girl. She may not learn such vast things from such companions, but who will teach her to read and write? It's high time she learned.
We've come to tell you this in all friendliness, so that you can think it over during the spring and summer and make your plans accordingly.
Next winter, she's going to have to come to school regularly.
She'll do no such thing.
Do you really mean nothing we can say can make you see the reason of this?
You must have been about the world and learned a great deal, Jonas. I would have credited you with more sense, neighbor.
Would you indeed? Do you think I'm going to send a little girl like Heidi down the mountain every day next winter, no matter how cold or stormy it may be, and have her come up at night when it's often snowing and blowing so hard that it's difficult for a grown man to keep on his feet?
You're right, so far. It wouldn't be possible to send her to school from here. For her sake, will you do what you should have done long ago? Come back to Dorfley to live.
I can't imagine how even you survive in the cold winter. I'm amazed a child can survive it at all.
She has young blood in a warm bed, and I can always find plenty of wood. My shed is full of it. The fire never goes out the whole winter through. I have no intention of coming back to Dorfley to live. The people there despise me and I them, so it's best we keep apart.
Make your peace with God and man, old friend. Give me your hand and promise me you will come back and live among us again.
I know you mean well, but I can't do what you ask. That's fine. I will not send the child to school, nor come back to the village to live.
May God help you then.
It's time to go see how Granny likes the repairs you did on our house, isn't it?
Not today, Heidi.
Hello, Heidi. How you've grown. Come and give your Aunt Detta a hug.
Grandfather.
Hello, Uncle. How well Heidi looks. I hardly recognized her. You've certainly looked after her all right. Of course, I always intended to come back for her, because I know she must be in your way. But a year ago, I just didn't know what else to do with her. I've been on the lookout for a good home for her ever since, and that is why I'm here now. I found a wonderful home for her. The family I work for has some very rich relations who live in one of the best houses in Frankfurt. They have a little girl who cannot walk, who has to be in a wheelchair all the time, and has lessons by herself with a tutor. That's terribly dull for her, and she longs for a little playmate. They want an unspoiled child to come and stay with them. So I immediately thought of Heidi. I went to go see the lady who runs the household and told her all about Heidi. And she said she thought Heidi would do. Isn't that—
Have you nearly finished?
Anyone would think I'd be telling you something quite unimportant. There's no one else in the whole district who wouldn't be thankful to hear such a piece of news.
Tell them then! It doesn't interest me!
If that's what you think, let me tell you something more. The child will soon be 8 and she doesn't know a thing, and you won't let her learn. Oh yes, they told me on my way up here about you not sending her to school or church. But she's my sister's child and I'm still responsible for her welfare. Everyone in Dorfley is on my side, so I'd advise you to think twice about taking the matter to court. You might find things being remembered which you'd rather forget. There's no telling what may come to light in a court of law.
Take her then, and spoil her! But I don't want to see her with a feather in her hat, or hear her talk as you have today!
You've made Grandfather angry.
Don't talk nonsense. You don't know what a good time you're going to have. Here, put your hat on. It's quite shabby, but it'll have to do. Come on now, we must be off.
I'm not coming.
Don't be stupid and obstinate like one of those old goats. You saw how angry your grandfather was. You heard him say he didn't want to see us again. He wants you to come with me. So you'd better obey if you don't want to make him angrier still. Besides, you can always come back if you don't like it.
Can I come straight back this evening?
Well, no. We'll only get as far as Minefield today. We'll go on to Frankfurt by train tomorrow. We can get back the same way. It doesn't take long.
Isn't it about time, Miss Rottenmeier? Shouldn't they be here by now?
Excuse me, sir. Would it be convenient for us to see Miss Rottenmeier, please?
That's not my business. Ring twice for Sebastian.
Excuse me, sir. I'd like to speak with Miss Rottenmeier, please.
That's not my job. Ring 3 times for Jeanette.
What do you want?
I would like to speak with Miss Rottenmeier, please.
Wait here.
Miss Rottenmeier, a woman is here to see you. She has a little girl with her.
Oh, it's them. They're here. Show them in, Jeanette.
Certainly, ma'am.
You are expected. Come in.
What is your name?
Heidi.
Surely that is not your proper name. What were you christened?
I don't remember.
That is no way to answer. Is the child half-witted or just impertinent?
If you please, ma'am, I'll speak for her. She's not half-witted, I can assure you. Nor impertinent either. She doesn't know any better. She's never been in a house like this before. She says the first thing that comes into her head. But she's bright and quick to learn if anyone would take a little trouble with her. She was christened Adelheid.
Well, at least that is a proper name. But the child seems very young. I told you we wanted someone of Miss Clare's own age so that they could do lessons together. Miss Clare is 12. How old is that child?
To tell you the truth, ma'am, I can't quite remember just how old she is. But about 10, I think.
I'll soon be 8. Grandfather told me so.
Not yet 8? That's at least 4 years too young. Really, Dada, what were you thinking? What books have you been using in your lessons?
None.
What's that? How did you learn to read then?
I haven't learned to read. Neither has Peter.
Good gracious! Cannot read at your age? Impossible! What have you learned then?
Nothing.
Really, Dada, I don't know what you were thinking to bring her here. She won't do it all.
If you please, I thought she'd be just what you were looking for. You said you wanted an unusual and unspoiled child. But there's nothing unusual about the older ones, and they're all spoiled. But Heidi is different and unspoiled. I must be going now because my mistress will be expecting me, but I'll leave her here and come back in a few days to see how she's getting on.
Dada!
Come over here. Do you want to be called Adelheid or Heidi?
Everyone calls me Heidi. That's my name.
I'll call you that too. It is an odd name, but it suits you well. I've never seen anyone quite like you before. Have you always had such short, curly hair?
Yes, I think so.
Are you glad you've come here?
No, but I will be going home again tomorrow with some nice white rolls for Granny because her teeth are so bad she can't eat the hard black bread.
You are a funny child. As a matter of fact, you've been brought here to keep me company and take lessons with me. Lessons are usually very dull. Her conduct comes every day from 10 to 2. It is such a long time. But now I will be able to listen to you while you learn how to read, and that'll be much more amusing.
I was not quick enough to catch her. All right, Adelheid, if I am to teach you, I will begin now. I am in charge of this household, and my staff of servants is well trained.
having you here, Heidi. Dinner last night was much more interesting than usual. I laughed so when you fell asleep at the table while Miss Rottenmeier were lecturing you on how to behave at the table.
Oh, Clara, I didn't mean to fall asleep. I was just so tired from my long journey.
That is most surely Herr Conduit. I'd like to speak with him before he begins your lessons. Herr Conduit, come in. I'd like to speak with you.
Certainly, Miss Sessamon.
Some time ago, when Mr. Sessman was in Paris on business, I wrote to tell him that Clara ought to have a companion of her own age. She wanted it, and so did I. Her father agreed, and I went about arranging the matter with a Swiss woman who works for friends of Mr. Sussman.
Yes, I can see the sense in that.
Well, the girl arrived last evening and seems to me totally unsuitable. First of all, she is entirely too young. Second, she doesn't even know her alphabet and has no idea how to behave in polite society. It seems to me there is only one way out of this dreadful situation, and that is for you to tell Mr. Sussman that it would be simply impossible to teach these two girls together without holding Clara back disastrously. I'm sure that would be reason enough to persuade Mr. Sussman to send the Swiss girl home again.
My dear Miss Rottenmeier, I understand your concerns, but things may not be as bad as you fear. For if the child is backwards in some ways, she may be ahead in others. I have seen that to be the case in other situations. With regular lessons, it may be possible to bring her on quite quickly. I do not mind teaching her the ABCs from the very beginning.
You don't? Well then, the girls are waiting. Admiral Hyde, this is Herr Commandant. You must listen to what he says and try very hard to learn.
All right, we'll begin now. Clara, continue reading your history book, and I'll begin the alphabet with Adelheid. Take out your pen, ink, and paper, child. Now this is A. The first letter of the alphabet. Apple begins with A, and as a matter of fact, so does alphabet. Next is B.
Sebastian! What was that crashing sound? Sebastian! Never in my life have I seen such a mess. Table, paper, everything covered with ink. And of course, it's all that wretched child.
Yes, Heidi did it, but quite by accident. You must not punish her. She knocked everything over when she jumped up. There are lots of carriages going by, and I expect she wanted to look at them. I suppose she's never seen such a thing before.
What did I tell you, Herr Commandant? The child is quite impossible. What do you mean by running away from your lessons like that?
I heard the fir trees rustling, but I couldn't see them anywhere. I can't even hear them now.
Fir trees indeed. Do you think Frankfurt is in the middle of a wood? Just you come and see what a mess you've made. You must sit still and listen during your lessons. If you don't, I will tie you to your chair. Is that understood?
Yes, I'll sit still. Excuse me.
What do you want, miss?
I really want to ask you a question. It's nothing naughty like this morning.
All right. What is it, miss?
My name's not Miss, it's Heidi.
Miss Rottenmeier told us to call you that.
Well then, I suppose you must. In that case, I have 3 names.
What did you want to ask, miss?
Can you open a window, Sebastian?
Of course. If you climb on that, miss, you'll be able to see what's down below.
All I could see is stony streets. What would I see on the other side of the house?
Nothing different.
Then where can I go to look over the whole valley?
You'd have to go somewhere high up. A church tower like that one over there with the gold ball on top. You'd see ever so far from there.
Thank you.
3 blocks around here. And there's no tower with a gold ball in this part of town.
Well, does anyone know where there's a tall church tower?
Not me. I'm always looking down the street for loose change.
I'll bet the Oregon Grinder knows. Ask him.
Do you know where there's a tall church tower?
Yes, one.
Will you show me it, please?
What will you give me if I do?
But what do you want?
Money.
I haven't got any money, but Clara has, and I'm sure she'll give me some for you. How much do you want?
2 pence.
All right. And after I climb the tower, you'll bring me back here?
Yes, for another 2 pence.
All right. Can we go now, please?
No more business here, children. Move along to the next block and see what good fortune waits you there. I'll be back soon.
Race to the corner.
On the right
apple.
She's not in Miss Clara's room.
She's not in the dining room. She's not in the attic.
She's not in the kitchen. She's not in the carriage house.
She's not in the cellar.
She's not in the garden.
She's not in the parlor.
Who's supposed to be watching her anyway?
It's not my job. I'm sure it's Sebastian's.
No. Miss Adelheid, just in time. Miss Rottenmeier's fit to explode.
Heidi, where have you been? I just went to a tall church tower so that I could look over the whole valley, like I can at grandfather's. But all I could see is rooftops.
Back to normal.
Enough excitement for one day.
Maybe now I can prepare dinner.
Yes, what do you want?
I want to see Clara.
Don't you even know enough to say Miss Clara? And what can the likes of you want with her anyway?
She owes me 4 pence.
Rubbish!
It's true. I took her all the way to the high church tower for 2 pence and all the way back for another 2 pence.
Oh, the little miss. Come in and wait. Why don't you play something? I'm sure the little ladies would like that.
Oh, look at that wretched thing.
Hey, come get it here. Oh, yeah. Watch that monkey.
Get that filthy animal out of here! And you belong in the street, not in a house such as this. Out! This is all you're doing, Adelheid, and I have had enough. I've sent a telegram to Mr. Sessman telling him he must come home immediately and deal with you himself. Oh, Mr. Sessman, I've been expecting you. Thank you for coming so quickly.
What's the matter, Miss Rottenmeier? Why this gloomy expression to welcome me home?
Mr. Sessman, I fear we've been dreadfully deceived regarding the Swiss girl.
Indeed. In what way? Is Clara not happy to have her here?
Oh, Clara is happy, but I thought a little Swiss girl from the mountains would be pure and unspoiled, a child of nature, hardly touched by this world at all.
You mean that she would rather be an angel with wings? I hardly see what good that would do Clara.
I'm serious, Mr. Sessman. She has set this house in an uproar. You can ask Herr Kandidat.
I will do just that, Miss Rottenmeier. Herr Kandidat. Just the man I want to see. You can clear things up for me, I'm sure. Tell me plainly, what do you think of my daughter's little companion? Do you think she's disrespectful and odd?
First, let me say how glad I am that you have returned safely.
Yes, yes. Now my question about the girl?
If I'm to express an opinion about the young person, I should like first of all to emphasize that though she may be backwards in some ways, a result of a rather neglected, or should I say, late education, because of her prolonged sojourn in the mountains, which of course could be beneficial in itself.
My dear Herr Conradine, don't bother with such details. Just tell me whether or not you have been alarmed by her conduct, or what you think of her in general as a companion for my daughter.
I should not like to say anything against the child, for if her conduct is somewhat unconventional, a result of her primitive way of living before she came to Frankfurt. This changed her, I make bold to say.
Excuse me, Herr Conradine. Don't let me hold you up any longer. Thank you for your help, and now I must see the girls.
But, of course, Mr. Sesame, good day.
Clara, my darling.
Papa, I'm so glad you're home.
You're looking so well. So this is our little Swiss girl. Come and shake hands.
This is Heidi, Papa.
Tell me, Heidi, are you and Clara good friends? I hope you don't squabble, so they have to kiss and make up, and then start the whole process all over again.
Oh no, Clara's always good to me.
And Heidi never quarrels with me.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, my dear, will you go fetch me? Now, what is it I wanted? Oh yes, a glass of water.
Fresh water?
Yes, fresh cold water. Now, Clara, I want you to tell me about your little friend and why Miss Rottenmeier thinks she's so unsuitable.
Oh, Papa, she's not unsuitable. She's just not used to life here in Frankfurt. The first morning of lessons, she heard carriages roll by, and she jumped up and ran to the door, thinking the noise was the wind in the fir trees on her mountain at home. Of course, she accidentally knocked the table over. Then, one day, she went out looking for a church tower so she could see over the whole valley, and she brought an organ grinder and a monkey back with her. Oh, Papa, it was so funny. Nothing is dull with Heidi around.
Well, you don't want me to send her home, Clara? You're not tired of her?
Oh no, since Heidi's been here, delightful things happen nearly every day. And she tells me wonderful stories about her life in the mountains.
I'm glad to hear that. And here comes your little friend now. Have you brought me nice cold water, my dear?
Yes, straight from the fountain.
You didn't go all the way to the fountain by yourself, did you?
Yes, and I had to go a long ways because the first fountain was too crowded. So I had to go to the one in the next block.
Well, you've had quite a journey. Thank you, Heidi. I'm so glad you're here to keep Clara company. Because, you see, my dears, I have to return to Paris this afternoon to finish some very important business.
But Papa, you just got here.
I know, my dear. I hurried just to meet Heidi. I will be back again in 2 weeks, and I know you two will hardly miss me, because my mother, Clara's grandmama, will be arriving to say while I'm gone. Goodbye, my dears.
Goodbye, Papa. Oh, Grandmama's coming. You just love her, Heidi. She makes everything fun.
Now remember what I told you, Adelheid. You are to address Clara's grandmother as gracious lady.
Good afternoon, Sebastian, Tinette.
Good afternoon, Miss Shessman.
You had a pleasant journey, I hope. The young ladies are waiting for you in the study.
Clara, my dearest darling.
Grandmama.
This must be your new friend. Come over here, my dear, and let me have a good look at you. Good afternoon, Lady Gracious.
What was that? Is that how you address people up in the mountains?
Oh, no. No one's called that at home.
Well, nobody's called that here either. Clara calls me Grandmama, and that's what you should call me too. Can you remember that?
Oh, yes. I always call you that when Clara and I talk about you.
Good. And what's your name?
My real name's Heidi, but it's supposed to be Adelheid, so I answer if I'm called that.
I'm sure you'll agree, Miss Sussman, that it is better to address her by a name that can be used without embarrassment, especially to the servants.
My good Rottenmeier, if she's always been called Heidi and is used to that name, I shall certainly call her that. And now I will speak to the girls alone, if you don't mind, Rottenmeier.
Certainly, Miss Sussman.
Clara, you're looking rested and cheerful. Are you still taking your afternoon naps?
Yes, Grandma.
And Heidi, what do you do in the afternoons while Clara rests?
I stay in my room because I'm not supposed to run about.
Look, Heidi, I have brought you some storybooks to read in the afternoons.
Oh, Grandmama, what's this one about?
Look, Heidi, here's where the story starts. You can read it to me.
Oh, Grandmama, I don't know how to read. I just can't learn.
What's that? Why do you think you can't learn to read?
Because Peter said it's too difficult because he's tried and just can't learn.
Well, he must be very unusual then. You must try for yourself. Do listen during Herr Condidat's lessons.
Yes, but it's no use. I can't learn.
Listen to me, Heidi. You have never learned to read because you have believed what Peter told you. Now, you must believe what I say. What does it mean to say I can't? What's hiding there? Dark and deep, slow and steep, too far to leave, too hard to keep. All live in the words I can't. What does it mean to say I can? What's hiding there? A beacon light, shining bright, a mountain sight, an appetite. All live in the words I can. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, and X, Y, Z. What does it mean to say I can? What's hiding there? A beacon light, shining bright, a mountain sight, an appetite. W, and X, Y, Z. For if you can believe, each day will seem like new. If you can just believe, ideas will come true. Hold on to I believe, and faith will see you through. Love is there if you believe. Love is there if you believe.
or to go out alone, yet here I find you trying it again and looking for all the world like a beggar's child.
I wasn't going to run about. I only want to go home and see Grandfather and Granny.
Go home? You just leave like that? What would Mr. Sessman say? Have you ever lived in such a fine house or had such a soft bed or such nice food? Answer me that.
No.
You're an ungrateful little girl who doesn't know when she's well off.
I only want to go home because while I'm here, Sneopa will be crying and Granny will be missing me too. And here I can't see the sun saying goodnight to the mountains. And if the hawk flew over Frankfurt, he'd croak louder than ever before because there's such a lot of people making trouble for one another. Instead of climbing high up into the mountains where everything's so much nicer.
Good gracious, child. What are you talking about? And what have you got in there? Why, they're hard as rocks. Tinette, Sebastian.
Yes, ma'am?
Tinette, get her out of these awful clothes and throw away that horrid straw hat and scarf. Sebastian, clean up those rolls.
Come on, miss. You heard what Miss Rottenmeier said.
Tinette, I will be happy to dispose of that hat and scarf for you. Heidi. I'll save them.
Tinette, Sebastian, Maud, Trudy, Sonia, Gregor, Eric, Johann, Joseph, Lawrence, come! Yes, ma'am! See that? The front door is open again. Did any of you go out and forget to close it last night?
No, ma'am!
Well then, when we searched the house yesterday, are you sure nothing was missing?
Yes, ma'am!
Well, if we're not being robbed, either someone is trying to scare us, or the house is haunted. Sebastian, you and Johann will keep watch in the study tonight.